What if I told you that some of the most shocking, outrageous, and completely illegal things today were once perfectly normal everyday life in the 1970s? A decade where danger felt invisible, rules were loose, and freedom wasn't just a word. It was how people lived. Kids played on train tracks like playgrounds. Teenagers smoked right outside school doors. And parents thought nothing of sending a child to the corner store to buy cigarettes. The 70s was a different world. A world before strict laws, safety regulations, and modern awareness reshaped our entire society. Today, many of those common activities would get you arrested, fined, or banned instantly. So how did normal become illegal? And what changed so dramatically that we can barely recognize that reality anymore? The 1970s was not just another decade. It was a wild transition era between post-war tradition and modern regulated society. A time where parents trusted the world more than they trusted rules, where personal freedom was valued higher than safety regulations, and where danger was often invisible because nobody questioned the risks yet. Children roamed entire neighborhoods without supervision. Adults smoked in schools, airplanes, offices, and TV proudly advertised habits that are banned today. There were fewer restrictions, fewer warnings, and fewer protections. And the world moved on pure instinct and culture, not legal compliance. People weren't reckless on purpose. They genuinely believed normal daily life was safe enough on its own. But as science, medicine, and public awareness evolved, society slowly discovered that many of these habits were quietly harming millions. The very things that once defined the 1970s lifestyle eventually became the driving force for some of the biggest safety laws and policy changes in modern American history. In the 1970s, train tracks were treated like open playgrounds, shortcuts, adventure zones. Kids balanced on rails, walked miles along them, even placed coins to flatten into souvenirs. Nobody saw this as danger. It was normal exploration. Today, this act is trespassing, life-threatening, and heavily illegal. Two hard acrylic balls smashing violently together in rhythm. Kids loved the thrill, but clackers often shattered, sending sharp fragments into hands, arms, and faces. Schools banned them and parents protested. Today, this toy is remembered as one of the most dangerous, normal toys of the decade. Backyard barbecues in the 70s often included lawn darts. Real metal, sharp, heavy. One wrong throw could cause major injury instantly. The game was exciting, competitive, and widely accepted. Today, the sharp version is illegal, replaced with safer, rounded novelty versions. The magical childhood fantasy oven of the 1970s used a real incandescent bulb that reached dangerous internal heat levels. Kids burned hands constantly reaching inside to grab cupcakes. Modern versions replaced the bulb with safe enclosed heating because the original became a legal burn risk. Children walked alone into stores and bought cigarettes for their parents, completely normal. Sometimes they carried handwritten notes, sometimes not even needed. Cigarette vending machines stood everywhere without ID checking. Today, that situation would trigger massive penalties, fines, and legal consequences instantly. St. 70s high schools literally had designated smoking corners, benches, and outdoor zones where teens smoked between classes. Even teachers smoked publicly on school property. Today, this would seem outrageous and illegal. But back then, it was socially accepted school culture. Cigarette ads filled television screens, promoting smoking as glamorous, successful, masculine, and desirable. Tobacco companies used celebrities, cowboys, and luxury imagery to normalize addiction. In 1971, TV cigarette ads were banned forever, marking a major turning point in public health history. Airplane cabins were filled with cigarette smoke. Even non-smoking seats felt the smoke. Ashtrays were built into every armrest. Breathing recycled smoke was normal for hours in a sealed metal tube. Today, smoking on flights is a federal crime. Seatbelts were optional personal preference, not regulation. Many cars didn't even have back seat belts installed as standard. Kids stood, moved, climbed seats freely while cars were at highway speed. Mandatory usage laws later proved to have saved millions of lives. Child car seats existed, but they weren't safety devices. They were convenience devices. No crash standards, no mandatory regulation, no real protective testing. Many parents simply held children on their laps. Today, strict certified child restraint laws are standard nationwide. In the 1970s, driving home after drinking heavily wasn't shocking. It was casually accepted culture. Legal BAC limits were extremely high, and people believed alcohol didn't truly impact control. Fatalities skyrocketed as just a few drinks became deadly normal. Today, this behavior is a criminal act, with strict DUI laws protecting millions of lives. Airports felt relaxed, open and trust-based, no intrusive screening, ID checks, scanners or barriers. Passengers walked straight to the gate. Families waited right beside boarding doors. The lack of control created a surge in hijackings and abuse of the system. Modern air travel is the complete opposite: strict, regulated, controlled, and heavily enforced. If you were 18 in the 70s, you could legally walk into bars and liquor stores freely. The logic was simple. If you could vote and serve, you could drink, but devastating alcohol-related car deaths forced lawmakers to reconsider quickly. The national return to 21 became one of the most impactful youth safety shifts in U.S. history. Kids worked everywhere: fields, small shops, family service businesses, without strict oversight. It was framed as responsibility and maturity, not exploitation or risk. Danger didn't feel visible because regulations were minimal. Today, strict protections exist, so children never repeat hidden harm from this era. People casually bought iguanas, macaques, boas, and other foreign species with zero accountability, no permits, no tracking, no ecological or disease consideration at all. Many escaped or were abandoned and became invasive environmental threats. Now exotic pet ownership is highly controlled to protect both nature and society. This bright synthetic dye dominated supermarket foods and candies in the 70s. Potential cancer-linked studies triggered national fear almost overnight. Even brands not using it removed red variations just for public perception safety. The ban became a symbol of how public fear can reshape entire industries instantly. Cyclamate fueled the early diet soda revolution. Calorie-free, massively sweet, and everywhere. A single lab study connecting it to cancer triggered immediate national discontinuation. The US banned it while many other nations allowed it to continue safely, proving science interpretation and regulatory fear can split the entire world's policies. Leaded, fuel exhaust-filled city air every single day without public concern. Children unknowingly inhaled toxic particles that permanently damaged neurological development. This was one of the hidden environmental disasters disguised as normal. Removing leaded gasoline became a historic public health achievement. Homes, schools, playgrounds, and nurseries were covered in lead paint because it was durable and vibrant. Nobody realized the flakes and dust poisoned children silently with long-term brain harm. It remained inside millions of homes, even after it was banned. Lead paint laws became one of the most important indoor safety reforms in modern history. Clothes, pajamas, bedding, furniture, all soaked in chemical fire retardants for safety. Later research proved these same chemicals absorbed through skin and disrupted hormones. Protection actually became hazard, hidden inside daily life fabric. Now many flame retardants are restricted because safety turned into toxicity. In the 70s, raw, unpasteurized milk was sold directly to families like a wholesome natural staple. People believed it was healthier, richer, and more real than processed milk. But severe outbreaks of foodborne illness changed public perception permanently. Now strict regulations control raw milk sales, and many states completely ban it. Kids openly pretended to smoke with candy, cigarettes that mimicked adult behavior perfectly. The red tip, powdered sugar smoke, and realistic packaging normalized smoking at childhood. Stage society didn't see this as dangerous because adults smoked everywhere. Anyway, today many countries banned or restricted them because they encouraged real future smoking. Hitchhiking was a cheap, adventurous, common travel method. Strangers freely picked up strangers. Trust in humanity felt stronger than fear, and most saw roads as safe social space. But crime, abductions, and real risk exposure ended that romantic freedom era. Now hitchhiking is considered unsafe, strongly discouraged and outlawed in many regions. Families ate dinner surrounded by cigarette smoke, indoors, enclosed with no separation at all. Restaurants, malls, shops, theaters, and public dining areas normalized smoking socially. Secondhand smoke wasn't seen as dangerous yet because the science wasn't mainstream. Modern laws banned indoor smoking nationwide to protect public health. Teachers in the 70s legally hit, slapped, paddled, and physically punished students as discipline. Parents rarely questioned schools because this was considered normal correction. Not abuse, it created fear-based classroom culture instead of emotional safety or guidance. Today, corporal punishment is banned in most states and seen as psychological plus. Looking back at the 1970s, it becomes clear that normal is never permanent. It is simply what society hasn't questioned yet. Most of these behaviors weren't born from rebellion or ignorance. They were born from a world that genuinely didn't yet understand the long-term consequences. Every law we now follow was shaped by hard lessons, real pain, and decisions that cost real lives before rules existed to protect them. The past teaches us something powerful. Safety doesn't take freedom away. It protects the future from repeating irreversible mistakes. The things we lose are not always losses. Sometimes they are evolutions. And these banned memories from the 70s remind us that progress is often invisible while it's happening, but very visible when we look back. Which one shocked you the most? Which banned 70s memory do you think actually should come back today? And which one absolutely should stay gone forever? Drop your answer below. This is where the real debate begins.